Hello, I'm Steve. I work in developer relations at Algorand. In this video, I'm going to be showing you Dappflow and how it can be used when developing on the Algorand network, specifically when you're using a private network in Sandbox. When you launch Dappflow, it will be configured to use the Testnet network by default. Whilst we're here, I'm just going to give you a brief overview of the features of Dappflow. On the left, you can see the latest blocks, and on the right, you can see the latest transactions within those blocks. Clicking into any of these will give you more information, such as the transactions within the block, or going further, you can see the details of the transaction. Under the accounts page, we'll display every account that exists within that network's ledger. Likewise, digging into one of these, you can see all of the details about the account, such as the assets it holds or has created, and the applications it has opted into or created. It will also show you every transaction this account has made. Under the assets page, we can see all of the assets on the network. Digging into that, we can see more information such as the unit name, total supply, or the addresses for manager, reserve, freeze, and clawback. At the bottom, we can see every transaction that has been made using this asset. Under the applications page, we will see all of the applications that have been deployed on the network. And digging into this, we can get information such as the application address, and we can also see the approval or clear state program. If we click the till button, it will convert it to till. And below that, we can see the global state values. And again, every transaction that has been interacted with this application. The last page is the developer API, and this is a Swagger interface for the indexer endpoint. Soon there will be a Algorand endpoint Swagger interface as well. On the very far right, we have the node settings. Here is where we can configure between Mainnet, Testnet, or Sandbox. For the remainder of this video, we're going to be using Sandbox. Before I save the settings, I'm just going to make sure that my Sandbox is running. If I go to the home page, you can see that the blocks will start appearing as they're created. No transactions are going to appear until I make one. So with that, let's deploy a test application that I've created. So there's a piece of approval till that I've created here. When you first deploy it and it doesn't have an application ID, it's just going to return 1. On subsequent calls, there's going to be a global state value called count, and that's going to increment by 1 every time it's called. It will also create an inner transaction of a payment type, not paying a fee, so it's hard-coded to be 0, so whoever the caller is has to make sure that the fee pool is enough to accommodate this transaction. The receiver is the original sender, and the amount is of 1 algo. Once that has been created, it's going to log the value paid before finishing. So if we use Sandbox to copy this to container, along with the clear state program, which does nothing other than push 1 to the stack, we can then use one of the accounts that have been pre-funded to create the application. Go app create, creator, I'll use that account. Then the approval program will be the approval till that I just pushed up there. The clear program will be the clear till. Global byte slices will be 0, whereas global ints will be 1 for the count. Local byte slices 0, and that's the same for local ints as well. Once that transaction has been approved, it should appear underneath the latest transactions. There we go. Clicking into this, we can see that the application ID has been assigned 1. Here's the approval code that was pushed up. If we have a look at the application ID, we can see the application address. We're going to use that address because the inner transaction is going to make sure that this address always sends 1 algo to the caller, so we need to fund it first. Go clerk send. Let's send, I don't know how much algo is that? 10 algo to that account from another account. Oh. There we go. So now we can see that receiver, WCS, which if we go to the applications, is WCS, is the application address, and they do in fact have 10 algo. We can now use another account. Go app cool, app ID 1, and set the fee to 2000. So now, once that application call has been made, we will see that the global state has changed and the new delta of count is 1. The inner transaction, a payment has been made, and we can view that, and that's 1 algo being sent to the caller. And in the logs, if we select text, we can see the value paid was logged. Hopefully that gives you a good idea of how to use Dappflow. Till next time, thank you for watching.